So, to start, I am going to read as founders presented the purpose of our discussion to provide a short list of practices for Q1, Q5. 2026, how to keep resources and resilience of the team. I'm excited of the Q1, Q2 horizon. I think we're going to speak about eternal things that timeless. So alcohol and drugs, all done. We can go. I have Q8. I have no idea what are we talking about. So 5 hryvnia joke. So let's get into the subject. I am taking a training, and last week I had a lecture from Professor Zelenets. He is the specialist on mental coaching and psychology of sport and corporate productivity. Person who coached a very well-known sport teams, a very experienced person in terms of happiness, restoration, resources, and what is needed. To conclude, my top insight would be something like easy and a bit of stupid. So leader has to be in the resource. If leader is not in the resource, he or she cannot inspire people next or around. So a marker of the resource at his standpoint, it's the free calendar. Free calendar not for something that gives energy, but to do nothing, because that relieves mental and physical space for reflections. And that's the key. So let's talk your personal efficiency and what are your habits and principles for that. So Artem, can we start with you? Probably the simple question that you recalled, the one that you remember. You say that you have to know how to manage yourself, and you had 16 points in the list. What makes you happy? Can you share that concept? Yeah, sure. But I will not do that. I will talk in a different way. I do sincerely believe that in order for us to be adult and mature persons, we have to be able to manage ourselves, to assume responsibility. So the question like what Ukraine has to do to make an economic jump, we have to be responsible for our life, every Ukrainian, and also every Ukrainian should love and accept an idea that he or she should work and develop. That's normal. So it happens in our life that Ukrainians, unlike many other people in Europe, we are very well developed. We're cool in our development. So there is now that complex of minority. Katja Kruk from Facebook recently said that at every meeting at Eastern Europe, and he runs the regional policy in a wide range, when you say Ukrainian on the table, oh, great case, let's have a look. So we're leaders in many things on digitalization. So my narrative that Ukrainians, and we may call the group of companies quite a number of people, and we are quite a democratic in our approach. I do not insist on my thoughts. I tend to impact. And the narrative is that we have to manage ourselves to assume responsibilities. If we dislike something, we may find some reasons externally, and that probably is the easiest way, but it's much more challenging if you can admit and say it's not because of these people, bad boss. Is there anything I can do and try and change something within yourself? So I have many tools on managing yourself. I've made this book for managers, which is due to be published on the 29th of January. We postponed that time because something happened to a print house. I do hope that it was not because of Shahid hit. So 27 lessons learned, one of those for my colleagues, how to be inspired and get energy when it's difficult. Obviously, we live in such a period of time when we more or less PTSD affected, we live in horror. And I try to digitalize things that I do to myself. I have many practices. How do I had a slide, and there would be a QR code and a table. Yeah, so there is a QR code here. and it's a link on a YouTube lesson, one of my courses. I've put 9 of lessons in public. So I sit in a chair and boringly describe things and deliver some narratives. So there's a template, and that template is a very specific tool with no empty talks. You write down things that gives you energy and things that takes away your energy. So it's like incomes and expenses in business, and the profit is the difference between what I've done. It's not my invention. I've just made a template some 5 years ago. I have reflexed. Ref so score a goal in a football. I play football. I score sometimes very rarely because I'm not a good player. But when I score, it makes me pleased and happy. So I started to play more football. Obviously, easy solution. I like music. So can you score more? No, I'm still a bad player. Team dislikes that I'm not a oftenly player. No, I'm good with scoring, but you have to increase the percentage of things that makes you happy and decrease the percentage of things that makes you unhappy. So I decided not to work with people for whatever reason I'm not pleased or pleasant to work with. I just decided not to do so. So I reduced the number of meetings with someone who is not pleasant to me or interested to me. Now in this template, I tend to update that I went to the forest, a very quiet forest, 2.5 hours away from Kiev, so just a fresh air. So you sit there, fresh air, and you scribble. And I was thinking to myself, I've got to some 16 points. So I called it what makes me happier, or just things that I like to do. So I've put things that I like and things I dislike. That's cool to do. And then every month in this template, you score whether that had happened this month or not. And then when you reflect on that, and I do that reflection very oftenly, normally for my birthday, 10th of May, please remember, greet me, and also for the New Year Eve. So once every 6 months, I tend to do so. So that's the tool, I believe, the best tool among others that you can select among things of your life. Obviously, it's not going to exclude all the problems out of your life, but you can cope with those easier. So when I started to do so, I just got more energy. So I encourage you to try. That's it. Thank you. Is it really it? No, I can speak more. Artem, seems to like you have a lot of free time. So you like a good student, do an Excel table, score things you like, mark it very quickly. That's called the positiveness diary. There is no template, but I was advised some 2 years ago as the coach of the coaches. So every day, at the end of the day, I would record things that I liked for this day without dislikes. And he said that just put 20 things. And I said, I hardly can put 5 things in it. Nevertheless, still put found a new music or spotted a nice tree or a nice sunset. I don't know. You got a feedback. So I started to do so and I did that for a year time, but it's great when you start looking for positive things, then you will see more and more of positive. And then at some time I managed to put some 30 things in the list. And later on, I've managed to focus. So on a walk, on the way, I see some nice tree, the autumn tree. I don't know why we do not have sun anymore, and we will not have sun for another 3 months, but multicolored leaves and so forth. But this positive diary helped me to spot nice things in our life. We will speak about that. So, Roman, serious things now. Oh, let's try. That's great. You see, scored 1 point, 1-1. So, continuing the issue, the subject, what is your personal principle or rule that impacted your leadership most in 2025? Well, thank you. It's very easy to respond following a smart guy because Artem already said everything. I just say +1, echo, and that's it. When I started to talk to large audiences, I thought that I had to be useful, share my experience, something that helped me, and worth sharing that. Then I realized it's like you and the book, something that helped me not necessarily is going to be helpful to you because you have your own context and your situation. If you would have Winston Churchill sitting next to us, one of the significant politicians of the 20th century, and asking him, what is your resource and resilience? And he said, I have my cognac and I have my cigar in the morning. That's his thing. So it's critical what I would like to sort of draw. Artem already said the resource state, that is your job. You have to observe yourself. You have to follow your resource state, what enhances that and what deprives that. So for me, that's the feel of energy balance. I have to be aware what gives me energy and what takes that energy away from me. And for many things, these could be absolutely different things. Someone would enjoy sports, someone mindfulness techniques, someone would just like an ice cream. So there is no universal advice what is going to help you, but that is your job. That's the fact. And especially when businessmen of my generation that rely on the wheel, I'm going to stand and I'm going to fight. It's not always helpful if you about to die and you have no will to do. Your goodwill is not going to help. If your chemical balance is disrupted, you are not going to be efficient. Well, that's the fact. In my childhood, I was brought so got together, stand up and fight. It's not working this way. Yes, you have to care about yourself. Yes, you have to feel your state. You have to spot things that give you balance, that enrich your balance, and things that deprive your balance. And that's the job for every leader if he or she want to be a productive. So that's reflection not about the 2025. That's overall the slogan. Yeah, again, very briefly, 2025 for me, that inspires me and gives me energy. That's obviously very simple things when you listen to and say it's obvious, but when you been exposed with your experience, when I follow things that are interesting to me and I'm trying to comprehend why I'm following those things, I just like those and I do those. Don't really care whether there would be any result out of that. I just feel the encouragement to follow things that are interesting to me because that's the source of energy for me. Great, thank you. So coming back to the happiness, Artem, I know you analyzed the happiness and you had an average age of your interviewers 78 years. Well, nothing funny. I talk to people who live their life. So tell us more about the algorithm based on these conversations. I will explain why that makes sense. The idea was when we do something in business and our business practices are cool because you can use them elsewhere. So when we do business, let's say I want to produce some product, you will follow someone who already did that. And the same may be applied to happiness. Whom do we ask? To ask someone who is great in posting in Instagram happy pictures? Unlikely. That's probably the model that you have to do so because other people like that. So something nice and fancy. So I thought to myself that it's better to talk to people who already lived their lives. And I thought originally that 60 years, but 60 years, these are very young people. I tried to talk to them, and for someone, life just started. So I tried to talk to 80 plus. These should be business people or people who are rich. I've been criticized. How come that business people were in mid 80s last year. Maybe they stole things, but they had their choices in life. And third criteria I took men. It's easier for me to talk to men. And I talked to 10 people of some 80 years old.
Not gonna be telling you everything that they told me, and who would like to talk to me? Don't talk to me. Go to GDD Fractal Partners website, our website, and there's a new bot that we released on Friday, which is called Цифровой Artem, Digital Artem. For 5 years, I've been recording all my thoughts here, and you go there, start the chat. Let's call, and let me show you. Hi, this is digital copy of Artem Borodatiuk. What shall we talk about? Tell me the recipe of happiness from your research. Briefly, from my research, there are several key ingredients. Activity of your body and your brain. All men 70 plus moved a lot. Their own intellectual activity and training books, checks, Sudoku. Number two, true implementation, what they have. Everybody was talking. So he's going to be telling you 9 points. You can ask him whatever you want to, and he's going to be giving you the answers. And don't ask me, just go there. This is just a post about happiness. The most important is not the inside, but there are lots of models. There are models. I spoke to those people and I had read lots of researches, and I like PERMA model of happiness by Martin Seligman. He's the founder of the positive psychology, which is a good thing for now. He PERMA, the first 5 letter P, positive emotions. It's an acronym, positive emotions. This is about you need to be supporting these positive emotions. We can impact this. E is engagement. This is about sport, music, art, and creativity. Certain things that you enjoy, you have to go after them. You have to practice them. That's why I produce tracks, because I like music. R, relationships, stands for relationships. It's clear. Then meaning senses. My mission is when I created this partnership meaning mission. Ever since I've been working, no burning outs, and well, we need to impact the economy of Ukraine. This is our mission, and it's not a problem that we currently have any problem. So we have a big idea, we have a big sense. And A is stands for achievement. When you achieve something, it takes time. We got used, we like speedy or swift dopamine, which is not my case. For 15 years, we struggled in FRACTAL to have some objectives attained, but now we're doing fine finally. And in case of there are no force majeure in our way, well, we needed to work for a long time, 15 years, you know. And the best definition of happiness, this is scientific definition, happiness is the state of your mind and body when the activity of dopamine serotonin systems is secures the balance motivations, calmness, and satisfaction. It's good that satisfaction is included. I've seen that calmness, we ignore calmness, we disregard calmness. We sometimes add the detox. We go to the forest, out in the forest. Losha actually, you can ask Losha. He the one who made me go to have a week off, no internet connectivity to in a small hut in the Carpathian Mountains. I was there all alone, was doing nothing, no internet, no mobile phones. Well, this is about free time. Correct. You're right. But happiness is you can manage your happiness, and a lot of smart, wise octogenarians, they told me that they manage their positive emotions. I was having some hypotheses, and I got proofs by having spoken to them. And the happiest man was an old man who a month ago almost died. He lived through clinical death. He survived a clinical death, and after this, he's extremely happy. And he enjoys happiness, and I convinced him to write a book. I'm not sure. Well, I wrote him the preface, and he told me, give me the preface. I gave him the preface. If he finally writes this book, it's gonna be fun. The most important that he stays alive, and but he's gonna be happy no matter what. That old man. Good. Thank you very much. You will have an opportunity to talk to the digital copy of Artem, meaning that you won't be inviting me anymore. No, no, no. Please stay with us. We will invite you. Over to more serious things. We have a Stanford alumni here. Roma, tell me, you've said that environment creates frames. What is the process that you've changed in Jooble after you returned from your studies abroad, and how did your team perceive it? Thank you very much. Before giving the answer to the question, I would like to complete what Artem has been saying. That is the Coursera. There's a Coursera, one of the most popular course by Yale is called Well-Being. This is a set of lectures on scientific happiness. There are researches that were conducted, A/B tests conducted the way the IT people like it, and one group did it, the other group didn't. Then they measured everything. So I do recommend you try it, because this is quite a practical and clear an exercise which each of you can do, like spontaneous gratitude, like having a diary, what Artem has shown, talking to strangers also lifts you level of happiness. This is scientifically proven. It's just not think positive and you'll be fine. No, this is scientifically proven what I'm talking about, and I recommend this to you. Now, well-being by Yale, well, available at the Coursera. Stanford, my classes at Stanford. Well, there's applicable study. There are applicable studies when you're not aware how to build up the bookkeeping, but you attend classes of bookkeeping, accountants, and you say, "I'm a ninja. I'm a account ninja. I know everything." But how to widen your range of knowledge? It's not that you're going after something, you receive something, and tomorrow I start applying it in my day-to-day business. No. You need to expand your horizon of knowledge and perception, but this is something that cannot be used overnight. This is like fundamental physics. Before you create an equipment that uses this physics, it took 50 years for scientists to work so that each of us has that electric kettle in his or her kitchen. All the developments were done 50 years ago by scientists. So you study today and you widen your knowledge of probable, possible, and impossible. Let me give you an example. There was a group of 70 people from 30 different countries, from the Republic of Chile all the way to the Philippines. And you're being told by the person, a real person tells you, over the period of 2 years, we only have two co-founders. Now we have 13,000 people. It took us only 2 years. So we had two people at the very beginning of our company. Now 645 offices is the number of the offices they currently have. An office a day, literally. Then you go to a company and you're told, well, hiring 50 people is extremely difficult and complicated. And no, no, no. This is what you're told. You hear two different stories, and I think that any person doesn't make lots of informed choices. One of the choices that you can make is your environment, people who surround you, because you choose the people who you hang out with, and you are among the people with who you hang out. So attending classes at university allows you to have that multicultural fresh up dive. You do that dive and into that multicultural fresh, and then you have to change like sales process at your company, and you probably be successful. So, frankly speaking, you haven't brought any know-how to your company following your classes at that university, but expanded your possible impossible framework. Is it something positive for a company? Yep. If let me give you a hint. Let me give you something that I like. And this is something that you can apply. And I've been thinking about it for a long time. I've been thinking about the decision-making system, how to make the decision. So we have a company, and there are several people who make strategic decisions. There are 8 frameworks of decision-making. consensus, majority, and so on and so forth. There are 8 of them. And in green organizations like ours, the decision is made by everyone in consensus, unanimous. So there should be nobody who is against, categorically against. And the decisions are made dentless, as we call it. So this is the decision that everybody enjoys, and this decision doesn't have that strong energy, which I dislike, honestly. And we were discussing this and how it's done in venture funds. And to cut a long story short, there's a pyramid how to make decisions within the framework of the company. If you are making decision about the core business, which gives you 80 to 90%, well, you need the consensus. Consensus is probably because each violin is important in the orchestra of what you're doing. If you're producing something new with your core business, somebody will definitely be dissatisfied. So then you need the majority only. But if you are doing something totally new, then only one person should be in favor who believes in this and who is willing to engage. Everybody else can be against or don't believe in this. And if you cannot trust this decision to one person only, probably you have wrong people in this room. So wrong room. So this is a simple and practical case that we implemented at our company. For us launching a new startup, doesn't only one person is enough. The person who says yes, and it's always not necessarily. Artem, please tell me about your P&L energy framework, but I've already told you about it. At the very beginning, I've told you about it. This is so the very points where you select the positive attitude and everything. Yes, let's check what else I have in store. I think I have 3 slides. Can you put up these slides on the screen? Do all of you see the screen, or shall we move it a little bit? There's another thing that I haven't shown you, and so this is about the objectives. This screenshot, we will discuss it. Okay, we will discuss it, and well, objectives. This is yet another framework. It's called "What I Need the Most." I call it a skill. And this is to continue what Roma has been saying. A person can believe in something, and here we're talking about the soft skill. A person may not believe, just like Amazon has got a principle. I don't agree, but I will follow or I will commit. They have something of the kind. So the person doesn't agree, but the person will follow. So this is what happens. And I call it getting things done percentage. And I would love to see this about each and every person. And then this indicator, getting things done coefficient, that is the amount of person that the person engages to do, and the amount of tasks that this person takes to the end and produces a result. I'm talking about the politicians, the managers, and regular people. I would like to have this coefficient be as high as possible. I don't think it's going to be 100%. If I reach 80, I would be extremely happy. And I'm literally counting. I haven't gotten to the end, but I'm counting what I've told myself, what I've done. And the very first example are the objectives. The person with the skill I need the most is the person who, no matter what, the person is not going to be telling that somebody hasn't picked up the phone, somebody hasn't replied, he's to blame, the accounting department has failed. So a bunch of reasons why people come up. They do exist. These reasons why they do exist, and we open it the networking, and we have the reasons why wall, and we have that. This is like a funny thing. So I collect the reasons why people say the reason why. If you have any reasons why, please write to me. And we have people who visit us and they take a picture of the reason why wall. And this reasons why is something normal for a human brain. When I jog, my brain, my body, and my brain my body is our 100% friend, but our brain is our enemy sometimes, trying to fool us, trying to relax us, make us feel idle. So that's why I come up with these reasons why. I tell these reasons why to myself. and I try to register this and tell myself that this is the reason why. If I'm running and I'm telling myself, no, 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 just run tomorrow, jog tomorrow, slow down, or don't jog, get a cab. So I'm constantly fighting in my brain. This is the reason why, negative one. When we all work, our brain also comes up with reasons why. So I always knew that you can come up with something why you failed or haven't done something.
I didn't do something because that happened. So when you overrun these excuses and when we manage to separate the body and the brain, body when we mean sport or control what you think, more often you get to the accomplishment of the task. So here in this video lesson, I tell that it's quite a cool video. It's been shared quite often, so I tried to identify what do I mean in the project management or a tracker to get things done and the index of getting things done. I suggest everyone to calculate starting with the objectives. So this is my template and there would be in the link. So as I said, twice a year, when the new year and my birthday in May. So at the end of December, I sit and reflect and focus on objectives and the statuses of these objectives. I paid attention that I do that now monthly, and I have sort of percentage of things done. And there is a separation on personal or job related, future ones, or very far future, very remote future, or present now. There is a priority, and this getting things done index has been calculated. I do not tease myself that I've managed to do some 25% in 2022. I had the worst indicator, less than 20%. The war started, many things changed. So I do not tease myself. I look at that like from a side. So there is Artem, and I'm just a man observing Artem, trying to calculate his score. So that skill and this digitalization of getting things done by actions allow quite a lot of maneuver space for inspiration, for management. I enjoy scoring or ticking the box that task is completed. So my book, that should be a task completed, but it's been postponed till 29th of January, so almost completed. So I suggest such a framework to manage your life, and that's the skill to be identified and to think who in your team, and you know your team best, the someone who you can trust any job done. So that could be the men or women to do. Well, that's impressive. Thank you for sharing. You know, there is a biohacking and there is a self-hacking. So that's something of that sort, how to be even more effective. Fine. Still, personal efficiency is critical for leader because the moral environment of the people working with you, but also the team well-being and how to make sure that they are fine and they have resource to contribute to the big thing. It's a big question. You can manage yourself, but how can you manage, maybe motivate some others under certain limits? And I call a metaphor. Here we talked to Roma recently. If you have things pendulum on the desk and then you would put more pendulums, they would be follow the same rhythm. One way or another, it would get into a same rhythm. So I think that's a very appropriate metaphor, how to make sure that your team is working in the same pendulum rhythm, that the leader has resource and the team has resource. So Roma, question to you. Transition from I want, I demand, maybe to some more human type management, how that looks like at your end. Well, 5 minutes question. Are we going to have any extra time? Well, you see, my experience says that you can't force individual. It's impossible. It's not working. Well, let's say, let's separate. If you have a factory and you have to produce 10 things per day and you have a production line that works, you can set KPIs, you can put some figures. If there is a some line job not requiring creativity, and a production that works fine, and we spoke today between production and business and IT, while majority here are creative individuals and creative jobs, you can't force and demand things to be done. It's not going to work. So the mission, in a way I understand, the leader's mission is to create an environment where people can do their best in the physical dimension. That's probably the most clear metaphor. That's the yard keeper. You treat your garden, you water it, so you create an environment where plants can grow and your people can present their best. So it's not a greenhouse. No, not necessarily a greenhouse, but you can help a rose to grow. So you can create an environment for this rose to grow, or maybe an apple tree. You can make it happen. So leadership for me, it's about creating the preconditions where people can grow and can present themselves. So that's the human attitude. It's not about a softness. It's not about some kindness. It's an adult to adult talk and communication. When we communicate within the team, not like an adult and a child, just to give you an example, in 2023, we had one downsize of the company because we were unable to meet our financial objectives. And when we downsize, says, look, this is our BMA. These are the changes. These are the conditions that requires us to reduce the number of people to keep those whom we can. And that is an adult discussion, an adult talk. Like some people tend to, sometimes I see, from a parent's standpoint, let's not complicate their life. So is it about sincerity? Yes, that's about sincerity. That's you have to be sincere and open and ready to communicate with others as like with adults. So they have to be prepared to that. So that's probably a mindset and a culture of the people whom you select to work with you. Well, yes, in our business, we don't have assets other than people. We don't have factories. We don't have mines. So the first and foremost function, the books may state the owner's mission to select people, to set strategies for them, and to oversight that people stick to that strategy. So I believe that's just a single function of the leader, to select people. Having the proper strategies, you don't need to oversight those. If the person is not ready to the adult talk, well, then probably that is not our individual, not our person, or we probably shall create an environment where that individual can grow up. Thank you. Artem, you said that you are the victim of controlling desire, but you do not struggle with that and you adapt it. Can you elaborate more? Yes, there is a such model, Enneagram. So different psychotypes, Are you type 8? No, I'm 7. Great. So I'm sort of 8, so I'm an active controller. I like this Enneagram because unlike other psycho typology, it says what you was doing. It assesses your sort of horizontal development. So types of muscles or types of strengths that you have. And it's great that there is an advice that you have to work more. We like tests because test describes you, and that's fine. I am that sort. but it says nothing that you'd better work on or develop such and such. So any grammar gives you an advice to improve in given areas. So number 8, that's a total controller. I do have an issue with that controlling things like many businessmen, entrepreneurs, and Roma is a very quiet and nice person. He's very calm, and things that Roman says, I always believe that you stole those from me. You read something, but I just know that we think alike and our mindsets alike. You know, I spoke to your digital dual copy. I was preparing to this session. Well, I made that content because we have a mission and it's also a pilot for me. So 90% of FRACTAL revenue comes not from Ukraine. That's international. So some 10% of Ukraine. We also have Ukrainian clients, but that's rather an exception. But nevertheless, we do that because the mission is critical to us. And Roma is one of the individuals who spread similar narratives. So why do I praise you? But Roman is not type 8. And I am type 8, so that's a bit complicated. So I realized that controlling, in a way, that's our ecosystem, mini economy. Why am I easier to understand the governmental officials, the Ministry of Economy, Sasha Tsibart? He's sitting here exhausted, fed up with economy. I understand him because I have my own mini economy, Fractal, 35 companies. So about control, yes, I know. So I can't control. I want, but I can't. And I told myself, look, I can impact. And I read a lot what controller can do, move from control to impact. What did I do? I recognized that I'm a controller. I don't want to change that because I already work with a psychotherapist. I had 3 psychotherapists at once. I did not trust any of them, and I worked with 3 therapists. So I realized that psychotherapy, it's about understanding my features, but not my own concept for 360 pages, not in a chatbot. You would not get that. So seems that I learned to do the impact and be okay that someone is not going to accept that. So I do wish that at least 50% of our staff took that course. We can't force. Oh, great. Thank you. That's free. So I did that for our team when I realized that it is not being demanded by ours, and I put that in public. And as soon as it got to public, our team got interested in, oh, that's probably something interested if that is for wider audience. So try to influence the situation, understand and accept that control is not working. It's just the illusion of control. And when you get to impact, it's difficult to the business owner, to the beneficiary, but it works at some stage when you adapt it. Sorry for taking time. That was very interesting, especially about 300 pages. I'm sure you will have many questions to follow. Just talk to chatbot. Okay, we'll be waiting for. So time is flying, but I will ask for a few more minutes because we have a last exercise. I think it should be interesting for us. Let's try and make that applied conclusion that we're going to send to participants as the supporting elements for upcoming years, not for Q1, Q2. Maybe someone will take it as a positive change in life. What are your practices, rituals, rules, commitments to manage yourself? So something that Artem you do for your birthday, 20th of May, the birthday. I will greet you. So shall I start quickly while you collect your thoughts? For me, I'm going to set my personal efficiency at the same level as business outcomes. And I will probably start with a qualitative sleep and lighter schedule to make my schedule lighter some 30%. I'm mother of 2 kids, 3.5 and 1 year. So that's my necessity. A leader is not in resource, cannot lead others. I do understand that. And secondly, that's the default stops. And thank you, Artem, for your advice how to make it happen. That is something needed to me. But I would probably put a measurement to learn how to stop, and I would like to master some mindfulness practices. And thirdly, weekly rituals to call something to the team that is the moment of force. We were developing quickly in Glovo, and we were focused on things to be improved, something to catch up, how to make it happen. Now it's time to praise yourself and find these positive moments. And here I see many overlaps because something that echoes to me echoes to you, and I've heard that from the professor's lecture on efficiency, and I think these rules are universal, the things what fits you.
Artem, are you ready to share with us? Roman, please go ahead. You be first. Three commitments, and we are taking notes of them. We're registering them. Artem has just say he's I'm a controller and I'm an active like I'm not that person who controls everything. I don't want to place and set in those commitments. You register them. We're gonna be registering them, so we'll show it and see what you will have achieved. If I have a problem with my head, I start with my body. I go to sleep and I wake up at the same time. I go to bed at midnight. I wake up at 8 a.m. I eat good, healthy food. I run for 45 minutes in the morning. I do cardio exercises. This is what gives me energy. I do it. It's easy for me to commit to these things, but committing to something new like personal efficiency, no, 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 no. On the 31st of December, you're not going to be producing that Excel file full of commitments. No, no, no. I'm afraid of I don't want to. I'd rather not because if you have made those commitments, you have to do that. I will not have. I will don't have other opportunities. I told my assistant to remind me of these. So you've installed the control system that helps you to control your. Currently, we're looking for the assistant to the assistant, and I think our current assistant would like to delegate this task of hers to somebody else. So if you call yourself FRACTAL, you will call yourself Recursia. No, buy frog leg and at the day of solstice cut it till the blood. And shall I tell you about the ritual? All right, this is something I'm going to be doing next year. I'm not going to be doing this. I'm just I've been telling you a ritual. The sun is the basis, and you know what SIP apparatus? You raise your hand who knows it. You read my post, so there are two people. Thank you for reading my posts. So this article was 1,500 pages long. Where did you read it? I read it in your stories. Thank you, Natasha. And this SIP apparatus is a device that raise your hand, dear man, raise your hands. You hear me, yes. So the men above 30 years of age, half of them are having problems with acnoia. You may not know it, but because you will not know it, so CPAP is a mask, looks horrible, but increased me, improved me, my restorative sleep. It's against snoring. If you know what WHOOP is, I like WHOOP. It's got great interface, and there's the restorative sleep, deep sleep plus REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. So I can tell you that this is my best investment into the productivity. I sleep 1 hour less to feel good in the morning because when I was when I was conducting polysomnographia, it turned out that the light sleeping in my was higher than the reference figures, 40%. I had 80%. Why lights sleeping? I'm suffocating. I not overweight. It just happens that you have that and you got suffocated when you're sleeping. So you use the CPAP apparatus and read the article in my chatbot, use this machine. Sleeping is good. Earplugs, eye mask, not when you the one you use for the masquerade, but to cover your eyes. Number two is exercise and sport. I broke my hand while practicing a sport, and I wasn't into sport. But 2 weeks later, I was having those depressive thoughts, and everything was bad. So I thought to myself, what the heck? But Roma told we are biochemical factory of hormones, and although my hand was broken, my legs were not broken. That's why I decided to do some leg sport. Lots of sports where you can use your legs, not hands, and everything went back to normal. So we practice on regular basis, regularly. Alexei and I, we have a jogging club. No one is allowed, let me tell you, because it's only for our friends. You need to be our friends, and then we will accept you into that jogging club. Every Friday we jog, soccer, all other sports, sleeping, good sleeping, practicing sports, and nutrition, eating healthy. Well, number three should be eating healthy, but in my case, it's controlling everything. I like absurd humor, humoristics. I conduct absurd interviews. I like music. I create music. I like DJing. I go out and DJ. I made a list of everything I enjoy, and I do it one after the other. I like outing in the forest. An assistant of mine is looking for a house in the forest to buy, so that be no one but me. You control your life. So this is the controller of me, maybe not quite adequate, but I decided to control every aspect of my life that I enjoy, period. Great, fantastic. You can write a book about this. We're wrapping up this session of ours. Thank you very much. Who do you thankful more to? I would like to express my gratitude to each and every one of you in person later on. Okay, good. Thank you very much, and thank you very much. Well done.